Hello, it is good to see you on the mat. Welcome back to Yoga with Paige, or welcome if we're new friends. Today we have a nice yin sequence for the lower body. We focus on opening up through the hips, so as well as increasing your flexibility, kind of working through your range of motion in the hips, the groins, the glutes. We will also be releasing that stuck, pent up energy that we kind of store, I'm sure you've heard, in the hips. So we will be releasing, opening up our center of creativity, self-expression, sexuality. So allow your breath to help you ease into and find that little spot, that sweet spot. And then we hold for up to a minute or two in each pose. So whenever you're ready, we get started on our knees, reaching out in child's pose at the back of the mat. P.S. We do use a bolster or a folded up blanket for about 2 of these postures. So grab one of those now and place it by your side. So we begin today with a wide child pose, keeping the big toes together. The knees come about as wide as the mat. Start to slowly walk the fingertips forward, allowing your exhales to press you down into the mat. Connecting to your breath in this first position, just letting it be, noticing its cadence, its rhythm. Taking this next breath as a chance to notice any tightness, any areas we may still be holding tension. Identify those. Coming into the feeling body. And on your next exhale, lovingly release the tension, letting the muscles relax. Simply being. Using your breath as a physical tool to help you deepen in the posture, and as a mental tool to help you mentally release what is no longer serving you. Any thoughts or behavioral patterns. Finding about 2 more rounds of breath in this wide child pose. And when you're ready, softly lift the head, lifting the chest, walking the fingertips back towards the hips as we sit up. Sitting on top of the knees here, if this still feels good. If not, we meet in a little bound angle. So keeping the knees wide, just take a moment to sit back on the heels, lifting up. You can take the hands to the knees. Maybe we take them to heart center. Letting the mind quiet down. Take one big inhale in through the nose. and out through the nose. Releasing the hands if they were at heart center and making your way into bound angle if we're not there already. Pressing the soles of the feet together. Finding your position as we root down into the mat. Letting the knees just naturally fall down. No need to press them open. Just let gravity do the work for you. Reaching up through the crown of the head, feeling the spine as it lengthens and draws long and tall. Sitting up nice and tall. Releasing anything that makes us want to cower and crouch. There's no need to cower no matter what has happened. That's in the past, and we're here in the present on the mat. Maybe on this next exhale, you pull the chest a little bit closer to the legs. Still keeping a nice, long, beautiful spine, reaching up through the crown of the head as we push down through the sit bones. Maybe feeling a nice stretch in the lower back, some relief there. Take one last big breath, pressing the soles of the feet together. And exhale, release, lifting back up. Taking this right ankle, planting the left shin down so it's parallel to the top of the mat. Crossing the right ankle over the left leg so our shins are stacked on top of each other. Now, if we're a little tight today, or if this is not in our practice at all, we can always place the shin in front of the other one. We can take easy seat, cow face pose. Always options. We can always just take them a little bit wider if we need a little bit more space here, the feet closer together. So your version of Firelog pose, or whatever your body is calling for. You wiggle in here. And then reconnect to your breath. To your center. Releasing the belly, let it become full, let it hang. Maybe closing the eyes. Going deeper within, leaving our surroundings behind. It doesn't matter where you physically are. Internally, you're always home. Taking a few more, about 3 rounds of quiet, still breaths. And on your last one, you can blink the eyes open if they were closed. Gently uncross the legs and cross the left shin on top of the right. Take your time to get here and find What feels good to you? It's what this entire practice is all about. Tapping into your own intuition. You know what's meant for you and what isn't serving you anymore. And whenever you're ready to make that conscious effort of letting it go, it will be there for you to let go of. And if we don't feel ready at this moment in time, it's completely fine. Remembering to try not to hold the breath. I've found myself doing that a few times already throughout this practice. Trying to stick with the breath, bringing your awareness back, and back again. Allowing it to soothe and comfort. And on your next breath, blink the eyes open if they fell shut. Gingerly uncross this leg and step the left foot up towards the top of the mat, gently coming onto this right leg, extending it behind. We're coming into a little winged dragon. So untuck this right foot, plant the hands down. We're coming onto the outer edge of this left foot, turning the toes a little bit towards the corner of the mat, just so we can open our hips. So we're kind of letting the ball of the foot, the bottom of the foot, raise up. And we can stay here up on the hands. We can come onto a block if this is a little bit too much for us right now. Or we can release down onto the elbows. Finding which position suits your body's needs. Attaching no judgment to whichever position it's telling us is right for us. For on the forearms, we're pressing down into the mat, trying to raise the chest, ground down through the hands, and breathe through this intense opener. We're only here for a few more breaths, so see where you can release, maybe in the shoulders. And on your next exhale, you can gently press back up using the hands. Plant the left foot and come into a low lunge. So grounding down through this right top of the foot, lift the chest. The hands can come to the knee. Maybe we want heart center, the hips, helping yourself to square the hips, keeping them square. Sitting up, not dumping into the knee here. Keeping a nice activation in the glutes, the quads, the hamstrings. See if you can take your awareness to the bottom of your left foot. If you can feel every single one of your toes. And on this next exhale, gently place the fingertips on either side of the foot. Heel toe to the opposite side of the mat, lying down the shin, coming into pigeon. Using our low lunge as a little transitional pose. Planting the hands in front of the left knee. Pushing away from the mat, really reaching the hips down into the mat. Taking the shoulders down, lifting the chest high. Full deep breaths. And if it feels right to you, gently making your way down into sleeping swan. Walking the hands out, melting the heart down. Taking a few breaths as a little mental check-in. See how you're doing thus far. Maybe something comes to mind that you need. Some small way you can give yourself a little bit more love. Show yourself a little bit more care. Letting the muscles become heavy here, let your body surrender into the mat. And on this next breath, lift the chest and the head. Walk the hands back. Gently lifting up onto this right knee, tucking the left leg back. And switching legs to come into your winged dragon, sweeping the right foot up, untucking the left foot. Make yourself comfy here. Exhale, come onto the outer edge of the right foot. And just like before, find what feels good to you. Maybe using the first few breaths to stay lifted and settle in, open through the hips. Before coming down onto the elbows. Softening through the glutes. Use your breath. Try to connect to the body as you let your thoughts just float away, in and out of the brain. Not attaching yourself to any one of them, just letting them go by like the wind. Finding your last breath in your winged dragon and lifting up, coming into your low lunge, planting the right foot, squaring the hips and lifting the chest. Taking the hips a little bit up and back so they're square. And we're nice and strong. Remembering that we're using this posture as a little transition, so taking only about 2 more breaths. Maybe roll the shoulders back. And then plant the fingertips. Heel toe the foot to the corner of the mat. And release the shin down, down, down into your pigeon pose. Taking the first few rounds of our breath to press away from the mat, creating space in the front body, lifting the heart center up. Take a big full breath in and exhale, let it out. And maybe transitioning through your sleeping swan. Just focusing on releasing a little bit more with every exhale. Whether that be mental or more physical for you. It's whatever you need it to be in this moment. Not what you needed an hour ago. Not what you think you will need. But what do you need right now? Anchoring yourself with the breath. It's your tool and your friend. Letting whatever emotions and thoughts that need to arise, let them come out. Let them be seen and heard. Make sure you are seen and heard by yourself. And whenever you're ready to lift up from your pigeon pose, we are now grabbing our block our bolster or our blanket and coming into a little supported frog pose. We won't be here for too long, don't worry. I know everyone hates this posture, but we're coming in for the release, okay? So lying the bolster or blanket in front of your chest, widening the knees, flexing the feet. We want the heel in line with the knee as much as possible. And lowering yourself down onto the elbows, making sure to position your blanket or your bolster so that you can just release into it. Definitely making sure to use your breath. Let tension go of the feet. Maybe wiggle the toes. Make sure you're not holding them there. On this next exhale, relax the hips. Let them be drawn down towards the earth. Just listening to the sound of your inhales and exhales as the air moves through your nostrils. And give yourself permission to meet yourself exactly where you are. No judgment, just love. We're going to stay here for about 5 more rounds of breath, but if this is too intense, we will be meeting on our backs in reclined bound angle. And whenever you're ready, gently lift up, taking the hands underneath the chest, taking the feet behind the hips, and gently taking the hips back. I don't want to move too fast out of that one. So we are coming onto our backs. You can take the blanket or bolster behind the head if you wish. Make it a little bit more comfortable. And just press the soles of the feet together. Not doing anything here, just allowing the legs to open as far as they will by themselves. Taking a little reset to rest here. And then taking the knees together, lift them in towards the chest. Give yourself a little hug, wrapping the arms around the knees, pressing the lower back into the mat. You can really feel the hip crease, the psoas muscle that we've opened up today. And on your next exhale, extend this left leg long and wrap the right leg around. So if we want to come into a little eagle leg twist, or we can simply extend the left leg and cross the right over, whichever feels better to you, depending on how deep you want to twist. Letting your gaze fall where it naturally wants to go. Just focusing on the wringing out of the spine. Visualizing the space between all of your vertebrae. Finding about 2 more rounds of breath before gently rolling onto the back, extending the right leg and raveling the left around. Finding your version of the twist that feels good. And simply let yourself be. And rolling back onto the back, unraveling the legs and taking our final little hip opening posture, happy baby, reaching for the ankles or the big toes. Finding a nice lower back massage here. Maybe you want to find a little rock or sway instead of a static hold. Letting the knees just draw down by the sides of the ribs. Feeling connected to the earth, to everything around you. Finding this connection through the mat. And staying here for as long as you wish, as long as feels therapeutic for you. And whenever you're ready, you can release into a final resting pose, or gently make your way into a little seat where we'll find our final few breaths together. Closing the eyes, taking a moment to come back to center. To come back to what truly matters. Take one big, beautiful inhale, make it big and deep, fill the belly. And exhale, expel it all out. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this practice was a little healing for you. And I would love to know how it went down below. Please give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you did enjoy it. I look forward to the next time we meet together, whether it's on the mat or off. Thank you for stopping by and hanging out with me on Yoga with Paige. Have a blessed rest of your day.